What's going on, y'all? So, Clash at the Castle was a great show, but it had one, to me it had one problem, and it was just that because it was so great. We needed at least one thing to happen, but we didn't get it for any of the things I'm going to talk about. But welcome everybody, sit down, let's talk about it. So they had for the first time in a long time, they had a kickoff match, which was Riddick Moss and the Street Profits versus Austin Theory and the Afro Academy. We actually got the confirmation here with Austin Theory and later on with Matt Riddle that they really are getting their first names back, as both Austin Theory and Matt got their first names back. And it actually, they actually came out saying Matt Riddle and Austin Theory. Yeah, this kickoff show with I didn't watch the whole kickoff show obviously, but the kickoff match was good, and it was okay. It was a good warm up to the main card, and the Street Profits with Riddick Moss, as I called him, or Madcap Moss. They got the victory here. The first match on the main card which was Bayley, Asuka, and Bianca Belair versus, you guessed it, they actually gave them an official title, official name, Damage Control. At first, I guess it was called, at first they were saying it was called Control, but their official name is Damage Control. And they even came out to like a new theme with the Titantron, saying Damage Control. The match was good. It was a good way to start the show, to get the crowd invested into it. I mean, the back and forth, everybody looked good from of course on Bianca, Asuka, and Alexa's side, but Bayley, Dakota, and Io Sky, they all looked good as well. And I was in fear that they was gonna lose momentum after what happened Monday night, but they did not. And actually, what I thought was going to happen, after what happened on Monday, what I needed to happen happened, and Damage Control got the victory here. Like I said, good way to start off the show. Then we move on to the second match, which was Sheamus versus Gunther, and that match was advertised perfectly, and it came as you thought. It was a beat down slobber knocker match. I mean, these guys went for ages just beating each other, beating the holy hell out of each other. Sheamus, oh my god, he got the biggest. I haven't seen Sheamus get that much crowd reaction in a long time, and the crowd was behind him. And like I said, they the MVPs. The crowd is the MVP because they help make every match even just more enjoyable because they were so into it. There was never one of those. Wasn't like many other pay-per-views where where you could tell the crowd's really not into certain things. The crowd was into every match. No matter how you felt about Liv Morgan, they was into her match. No matter how you felt about the Seth Rollins match, whether you liked it or not, they was into it. No matter what anybody was into or not into, that crowd was into everything. And no matter they booed somebody or cheered somebody, they was into it. And but yeah, Gunther and Sheamus tore the house down. They beat the hell out of each other. One thing I want to mention too before I get off this and tell you who won is that Imperium is reformed. This will be the first of two basically surprise wrestler appearance. I would say. I want to say return, even though it was kind of a return for Imperium, but the second person was more of a call up, and I would get to who that second person is a little later. But this first person was Giovanni. We all know they brought him back, and I think he was in NXT they had him back on NXT, and then it was just a matter of time before he rejoined Imperium. And now Imperium has basically reformed, and they was wearing their customary black this time instead of red. But yeah, after a hard-fought victory, Gunther would hit him with a powerbomb and a clothesline to pin Sheamus, and basically in what was a good match. Sheamus got a big crowd reaction after the match, after leaving. That would be like I think they only would do that 2 times in the whole night, which obviously was only for Drew and Sheamus, but I don't think they did it for anybody else. Bret the Hitman Hart was there too, as you know. I guess the last time they was in Cardiff or in over there doing a pay-per-view was SummerSlam, where Bret the Hitman Hart and David Boy, the British Bulldog, had the Intercontinental Championship match. That was the main event of SummerSlam, so that it was appropriate that they had Bret the Hitman Hart there and Davey Boy's family. Also, Karrion Kross and Tyson Fury was there too. But yeah, now moving on to the third match, which was Shayna Baszler versus Liv Morgan. And that match was a good match as well. It was very good. Well, the Sheamus, and I need to change that. Sheamus versus Gunther was great. That was a great match. This was a good match. Liv Morgan, it was a good match because it wasn't one-sided how it was with Ronda, and they didn't what you thought was going to happen. They thought at least I thought, and many people thought, that Shayna was going to dominate at least a little bit, and then Liv Morgan was going to turn around and then get pinned. Turn around, have her little moments, then get pinned or retain. And it actually wasn't that. It was actually a well-balanced, equal match, which some people won't like, but it was a well-balanced affair. Like, one didn't dominate over the other. Even when Shayna had her moments of dominance, Liv Morgan was able to fight back and basically make an equal match. And what they did, what I wanted to happen in this match, I got, which was a step in the right direction of fixing Liv Morgan's title reign by actually having her win a match, using her finishers, pinning them 1, 2, 3, and not having a controversy, not making her look weak, or having her beating somebody like in a fluke way. I understand how you don't want to show that she could just randomly beat Ronda Rousey or Shayna, but that's what they did here. They had her actually beat Shayna using her finishers, and she retained the title. And what I'm going to say, my one little thing I didn't like about it is going to be like, what you said, that's what you wanted to happen, but you actually wanted the opposite too at the same time. And I'll get to what I mean. But yeah, Liv Morgan won and retained. We move on to the next match, which is Rey Mysterio and Edge versus the Judgment Day, which was another great match. Great match, great crowd reaction. Everything was on point. But the true magic of this match wasn't just the match itself, but what happened afterwards. So, Dominic ended up helping Edge and Rey get the victory. But once the match was over, Rey and Edge was comforting each other, and was like, "We did it, yeah." And Dom was just sitting there on the island on his own. He was trying to get involved with it, but then they were just they kind of pulled away from him. And we already had the story of him being frustrated with this building up. And Dom just and then they finally do embrace him. They finally do, they finally do bring him in. And Dom just okay, yeah. Bow! Straight low blow to Edge. And let me tell you how Edge did what I liked about the low blow. It wasn't just a regular low blow where you just, the wrestler get low blow, and they're just oh God, and they just fall to the ground. Edge did a horror movie low blow. What I mean by that is, you ever watch a horror movie where the killer is one of the friends, and it's the killer either stabbed or shot the person, and they reveal, and the person just slowly just sitting there looking at them as they die, what? And then they die, and that's how Edge was. He wasn't all like that though, but he was went down low, blowed him. He was oh, and then he just looked at Dom, was and just it was about to fall, but then Down grabbed it, was like, "This is all your fault." And then when Raymond still pushed him off of Edge and tried to calm him down, Edge just hit fell to the ground, and he tried down, down. He was trying Down was trying to go out, but then they were scuffling. Down would push Ray off of him a little bit, but then he's pleading. Me purple forward. Just stop. This we can fix this. Just you gotta calm down. This is not. He trying to talk sense into him, and Down. Down like, okay, all right, I hear you. I gotta calm down. I got it got out of hand. Okay. And then he cracks Rey Mysterio with a clothesline. And I'm just like, holy crap. They pulled the trigger. He has turned on Rey Mysterio and Edge. But it wasn't to join the Judgment Day. It was more like he just, like, he didn't stand with them. He just went on his own, was just like, screw both of you and all that type of stuff. But, yeah. Edge and Rey Mysterio did get the victory, but Down turned heel. We did get the next match, which is Matt Riddle versus Seth freaking Rollins. And this was another great match. And it went as advertised. The heat between the two, the build-up was just as good. And they tore the house down. They beat the hell out of each other. I like that Seth in the middle of the fight would say it would taunt him again about his wife and children, and this would cause him to get even more angrier. But it will lead into Matt Riddle's downfall as his anger got the best of him, and he was too angry, too focused, too much. Let Seth Rollins get the upper hand, and Seth Rollins would beat Matt Riddle with a super stomp, if you will, because he was on the top ropes when he gave him that stomp for the 1, 2, 3. The match was good though because there was a lot of like stealing moves. Like if he was he used Matt Riddle's, not Bro Derek, but the I forgot what they called it. Was it the Bro Derek? The move basically, like, it looked like he's going for a power bomb, but instead he just lifts him up and then go boom. He used that finisher from Riddle. He even tried to hit the RKO, and he did Randy Orton's signature draping DDT from the ropes. But yeah, it was a good match. It was a great match. And now we get to the main event, which was Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre, and it was a great match in itself. They actually hinted to it with their little reel on Instagram, but Drew McIntyre did come out with his, I think it's called Broken Dreams, and his old entrance, the Chosen One entrance, his Broken Dreams entrance. But he didn't really come out, but they did like a little WrestleMania like thing where they had the Broken Dreams entrance play first and showing like Drew McIntyre from being a kid. Excuse me, it's early morning. For being a kid, wanting to be in the WWE to basically where he is now. And then after it went off, they played Drew's new entrance, or the entrance he used now currently, and that was a cool thing. But then the match itself was a beat down, as you would think. For the last match, they tore the house down. They got the appropriate time they needed, but it leads into my one thing I didn't like about the show, which was the fact that Roman Reigns won and retained. He won his retaining title because of the second person who showed up, like just like with Giovanni with Reform Imperium. This person was Sikoa from NXT, or the younger brother to the Usos. He showed up to help Roman Reigns win because Drew McIntyre had him. He hit him with a Claymore that pinned him. He was not kicking out, but Sikoa would pull the referee out the ring, and this distraction, because I think Drew tried to beat up Sikoa, but that distraction would allow him to get speared by Roman, and Roman would pin him and retain the title. but Drew ended up even though he walked off with Sikoa, Drew had a little moment with Tyson Fury in the ring. He almost got into it. He almost had a fight with Karrion Kross because Karrion Kross threw a water bottle at him. But other than that water bottle being thrown at him, nothing else would come of it. You know, it was just them jaw jacking each other. But if anything, if Roman doesn't compete at the next pay-per-view, which is Extreme Rules told by Paul Heyman in the video package, they had like a little promo video package highlighting about the next pay-per-view, which is Extreme Rules. If Roman don't compete, I can see Drew McIntyre having a match with either Sikoa or Karrion Kross most likely. But the one thing I didn't like about the show was that no champion lost a title. Even though I wanted Liv Morgan to win and retain, so I felt like 30 years since you've been here and much effort you put into making this a good show. You needed I needed more than just the reformation of Imperium, Dominic Mysterio turning on Rey and Edge. I needed more than Sikoa helping Roman because I figured that was going to happen. If anybody would have helped, it would be Sikoa because Sikoa had been rumored. I just needed a little bit more, and I didn't. I needed somebody to lose the title, and I did not get that. Though it's not, it didn't take. That is not necessary. It didn't take away a point from the show, but it was going to get a 10 out of 10. But I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 big ups just because it was good. It was a good show. It was a great show. I'm not taking anything away from it, but it just needed that. It needed something else just to go with the cherry on top. But I guess they saving somebody for another day. But you let me know in the comments down below what you thought, and if you enjoyed this review, hit that button right there in the upper right corner for all of my WWE reviews. And you enjoy this review so much you want to support the channel, all you gotta do is hit those buttons, guys. That like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button, hit that thanks button, and hit that join button. Do all those great things. And yeah, see you in the next video, which is more review. Well, not a review. I think it's just another review reaction. I forgot about I gotta do the review for Stargirl. So another review, reactions, and more gameplay. Peace out.